It'll be a good day if my attorney could just be nice to me, like all of my fans out there. Y'all, we're gonna be talking about Sarah Boone's latest court appearance. It is off the rails, but would we expect anything less out of Suitcase Sarah? We're gonna talk about it in today's video. Y'all, I want to thank Aura for sponsoring this video and making the channel that much more safer. And we're going to talk about what they have to offer the Sofa Squad and the general public today. So you already know, whether it's scammers, hackers, spammers, whatever you want to call them, they have access to get all of your stuff. And a service like Aura is there to help protect that, to help keep everything locked down. Sofa man, what are you doing?
I'm building a firewall. I'm keeping the choppers out.
Wait, hold on. What did you do?
I Googled the sofa. I mean, have you ever Googled yourself? That's when I found out that the choppers and the scatters can come get your stuff.
Wait, hold on. Choppers and scatters? Do you mean like hackers and scammers?
Don't try to make me look stupid, boy. Now go on and get a ladder.
Hold on. Let's come over here. Let's sit down and let's leave that to the people and the professionals who know what they're doing, okay? Have you heard of Aura? You just stay right there while I tell you a few things about Aura. All right, Sofa ma'am?
Now look, I ain't moving to no Aura, okay? I'm staying right here.
Are you serious? Aura shows me what data brokers are selling my information. They automatically submit opt-out requests for me. This is amazing. And it has also severely reduced the amount of spam I get. That was such an eye-opening part to me about the process of working with Aura and having them get me and all my emails and all my stuff on par. And I don't know if y'all even noticed this, but AT&T revealed that over 73 million customer records, both existing and former, were released on the dark web. Now, they recommend those that were affected to use, all the things we've heard: strong passwords, monitor account activity, credit freezes, fraud alerts from credit bureaus, you name it. So here's the thing, Aura does all of that stuff, y'all. You don't have to go from thing to thing. Aura does it all for you. And best of all, you don't have to download multiple apps. They're going to do it all in one spot, and you don't have to put yourself out there because a company couldn't keep your data secure. Now look, I value the Sofa's privacy, and well, I value yours too. And here's what we can do about it. You can go to aura.com/reportinglive to start your 2 weeks free trial. It's also linked in the description. You really don't have anything to lose, and well, everything to gain. Hello, Sofa Squad, and welcome back to the sofa. The sofa's back here. My name's Paul. I'm sitting in front of it. And like I said, today we're going to be reviewing that latest court appearance, if you want to call it an appearance, debacle might be a better word, of Sarah Boone. Now, if you're not familiar with this case at all, Sarah Boone has been incarcerated for several years, facing charges. It is alleged, even though there is absolute video footage of it, that she somehow convinced her former partner, lover, whatever, George, to get in a suitcase, at which point she most likely threw it around, threw it downstairs, whatever. He begged for his life. He couldn't breathe. She would not let him out. She went upstairs. She passed out, and he sadly lost his life to the suitcase, in the suitcase. So this went viral several years ago. Obviously, it's kind of bizarre, right? But Sarah's behavior in the interrogation, the word unintentional, the saying, it was a good day, kind of are her taglines at this point, okay? So that's where that comes from if you're not familiar with the case. Now, she has been notorious for getting rid of every lawyer. She's on her 8th one, wanting to go for her 9th at this point. So that's what we're going to be reviewing. She's gone before the judge. Her attorney, who is a female this time, is basically having the same issues. It's just, Sarah thinks I'm an idiot. Sarah doesn't like me. She walks out of the meetings we have. She's not, wanting to listen to me, a lawyer of 40 years. So Sarah speaks up during this, though, and oh, does she speak up. And the things that come out of her mouth will leave you just scratching your head. So that's what we're going to do. If you're new to the channel, the format of this is I'm going to put some clips up, and there's going to be a lot for this one. And we're going to just talk about it along the way. And at the end of it, we'll talk about it even more. Now, if you do want to follow me outside of the tubes, I'm on the Instagrams. It's on the screen. It's in the description. Go on, click it, good Lord. Now let's get to Sarah.
I've obviously not seen the letter. Ms. Boone is correct. She has walked out of the last 2 visits when I've tried to review things with her. Just so the court knows, I've spent probably 20 hours, a little bit more, a little bit less, with Ms. Boone. She has lots of lists, lots of questions. In reviewing the court file, she was distressed previously about having access to her lawyers. I have taken collect phone calls from her that are at my expense. JAC doesn't reimburse you because I think it's important for clients to have access. I have
Hang on, please. No one's interrupted you this morning, Ms. Boone.
Pause the tape. So already, Sarah's got lists, she's got this, she's got that. You know, she complained about being able to have access to the lawyer. I'm taking collect calls out of my own pocket, and then Sarah interrupts. Now, here's the thing, and I want to make this, just announce this at the beginning or whatever. You know, here's my take on it. As much as I might rip up, you know, this, that, and the other, whatever, we all deserve a lawyer. We all deserve a defense, right? Anybody would want that. Anybody would want them to make sure they're meticulous and dotting their I's and crossing their T's, because Lord knows we've seen enough where things don't go, you know, where things are covered up or things are looked over and that type stuff. So 100% a major advocate of being an advocate for yourself and speaking up and taking charge, because in this kind of situation, you're just going to get run over, right? So I get Sarah on that part. The part that I don't get, however, is that she is, in my opinion at least, abusing the system, right? She is playing games with it. It's just, this is not how this is supposed to go. She is not taking the word of anybody. And one of the things that I noticed with her interrogation, I actually watched it with somebody this morning who had never seen it, and that was a joy. You know, from the interrogation to here, there's not been any lesson learned, it seems. Whatever her condition is, whether it's just an egomaniac or a sociopath or a narcissist, whatever the, you know, things are, I ain't qualified to hand them out, but it's only worsened, it seems. She wasn't willing to take any accountability in the interrogation when there was pure plain video of her doing what happened to Jorge. And now she's here years later, a number of lawyers later, and they're saying she's doing this, she's not listening, and Sarah, it's their fault, it's this fault, it's that fault. You can just see how she is just dragging the system through the mud with this. It's very similar to Daryl Brooks, if you followed that trial. That was, you know, basically a sovereign citizen type situation with him. And so at this point, for me personally, I feel like Sarah just needs to represent herself. They need to force her to do it. Not force her, but be like, Sarah, you're not going to be happy. We're going to put standby counsel or whatever you call it, and you just represent yourself. And let's just go ahead with it. You know, because I just feel like she's manipulating the system. So let's keep watching her manipulate the system.
As I said, I've spent over 20 hours going through her questions, going through her lists. When I tried to update her with regard to the depositions that I took recently, she opted to exit the jail conference. When I tried to review some things with regard to discovery as to things I wanted to make sure she was aware of, she walked out. She has asked me repeatedly for a copy of some medical records. Based on the discovery I got from the previous attorneys, one of the copies of those medical records had her handwritten notes. So she had a copy given to her previously. She'd reviewed them with previous attorneys. I sent her a new copy.
This is what I'm talking about. She just keeps doing the same stuff over and over and over and over. And what I think happens is, I mean, I do think it's some kind of mental condition, but again, I don't know. But I'm also thinking of Daryl Brooks and whatnot. I think that they are coming from the standpoint of, I have these constitutional rights, which again, I get, but it's almost like they manipulate them. And the judge will bring this up later. It's almost like she looks at the copy, she does it, and then in her mind, she's either thinking, I don't have all of it, or they're hiding something, or she loses it. And then she's like, but I need to go back over over it. So she starts to cycle up. Well, the wheels of justice are very slow. When you're incarcerated like that, it takes forever to get this stuff. And so this is like, you're talking weeks and whatnot. So every little thing, if she gets it and then loses it and wants another one or does this or does that or whatever, you know, there you go. One of the things with Sarah that is unfortunate for her, you know, and obviously George and anyone else she's victimized in her life is, you know, clearly there was some kind of substance abuse, alcoholism, something. She has woken up out of that fog. I pray that she is completely sober in jail and not, you know, well, doing the hooch in the toilet, you know, but she's woken up out of this to George is gone. I took somebody's life. My children don't have a mother, my kids, whatever. You see where I'm going with this? Just, you know, this is the reality. So, you know, this is not good. And it's almost like she's now trying to be like, well, let me dot my I's, let me cross my T's, let me do this, let me do this. But it seems there's either like brain fog going on with that, or manipulation, or both.
Some of the things that she thinks are important from a lawyer perspective, perhaps I don't attach the same importance to, and you try to explain that to a client. You know, I know the court's in a difficult position, but at this point, we're at that impasse of, if she walks out of every conference that I have with her, I'm not sure what that says about the attorney-client relationship.
Again, I think it's a ploy that she's doing, a tactic. I think she likes playing these games. I think she likes the attention. Now, if she could have walked out of that interrogation when they pulled up some of the video footage and whatnot on her phone, she would have. I think Sarah's one of the personality types, and I mean, who knows when she was a child or whatever, but you've probably met these type people, where they are so difficult to be around, people will pander to them just to get rid of them. So on a very minute example, something's happening in the grocery store line, an expired coupon, there's a little bit of, you know, pushback from the manager, drama. Okay, well, take your things, just get going. Well, this trains these people to know if they scream loud enough and yell loud enough, they'll get their way. But when they find themselves in a situation where finally it ain't gonna happen, and it's not gonna happen, you're in a heap of trouble, this is more than expired coupons, they don't know how to function. They only know how to go back to that, which is, let me be abrasive, let me be loud, let me be dramatic, let me do fireworks off, and people will give me my way and get what I want. Now, you know, again, look at Daryl Brooks. Same type thing, you know, and he is at the end of it dragging everyone through, which I'm sure he enjoyed. He's convicted. Now, the attention-seeking level of this, because she definitely looks at herself as a celebrity, and we'll hear this, I mean, she calls people her fans and whatnot. There's that going on too. I think she likes that, and I think probably also in her world, jail might be a little bit safer than going to prison because she's been there for years, and so it seems like she might be more comfortable where she's at. But again, I don't know her. I'm not in her mind. Thank the Lord.
Ma'am, you said there was something else that you had other than a 58-page submittal or letter. What other information is it that you're seeking to have me take a look at?
It's things that I've been working on in the meantime. It's things that she likes to tell me is not necessary, but I know for a fact it is necessary. She likes to, in quotes, put things to rest all the time and constantly tells me I'm not having this conversation with you. So I'm not going to waste my time, and I, being in jail, have supposedly abundant amounts of. She's not going to waste my time because she's not going to explain something to me. And I have taken it upon myself to explain it to myself because she refuses to do so. I don't understand what it is that she has against me. I have told her from day one that her snotty attitude was inappropriate, and I try very hard to bear with her and her attitude.
Ouch, okay. I told her from day one her snotty attitude. Coming from somebody with a snotty attitude, that's the icing on the cake right there. Okay, the word salad that Sarah just spit out is exactly why we're here 5 years later, whatever it is. This is exactly it right here. Again, imagine a conversation with her over expired coupons in your grocery store line. You're the manager. What would you do there? You would just get rid of her. just shut her up and move her along. Get her out of my orbit. What's funny is, so you know how I said earlier where I was like, oh, I watched the interrogation earlier? And I texted some of this in our little group chat on wherever earlier. This morning, I had the gift and privilege of being able to talk to somebody who did not even know what Sarah Boone, who's Sarah Boone? Is that a historical figure? No. I explained the situation. And then I'm like, we're going to watch her interrogation. We watched it up to the point of them being like, okay, Sarah, well, let's look at the laptop, right? Because I was like, look, just that literally without prompting y'all, this person is listening to it and saying the same stuff. Like, what is she talking about? Why doesn't she have a lot? Why is she saying that? And then you already know if you've watched it, when they pull that laptop out, it's just over with because she's gassed everybody up to be like, look at the phone, look at the phone, look at the phone. It's like, yeah, you recorded the crime multiple times. Get lowered. Made me clutch my pearl so hard they went back to natural.
I don't know what it is that I'm doing wrong to her, but I feel that her attitude has equaled prejudice, which is not in my favor, especially considering she supposedly represented my life.
Okay. Give me an example, if you could, of items that you believe are important that Ms. Cashman is not giving attention to or dismissing as you may have framed it.
Yes, Your Honor. She likes to tell me that I don't like her answers. She's not giving me any answers to this. I've written 3 pages worth of questions, and I'm still waiting for her and any other attorney to actually answer for me, such as, why can't I have a bond? Why can't I have a download of my phone? Why can't I speak to my investigator? Why can't I have my medical records? Why can't I fully utilize my constitutional rights? There's 3 pages worth of questions that I have.
What constitutional rights specifically?
I'm very leery about having a fair trial at this point. There's a handful of other amendments that I have been researching and working on and trying to incorporate. To me, what I have written to you is obvious, and apparently from the correspondence that I get from the world, South Korea was the last place that I received correspondence. They obviously see the same thing.
This part had me speechless. The feedback I get from the world, Australia, they see the same thing. Girl, no, they don't. They don't. Maybe some do. Maybe some do, but the majority do not, okay? Here's the thing. This is one thing I see with this case specifically, is because of the scenario with Sarah and George, there's like this level of DV, documented DV in the situation. And I'm trying to think of a nice way to say it or whatever. Because I'm not trying to victim blame George, and I'm not trying to victim blame, Sarah, but it's almost like here's a situation where clearly there was some toxic traits going on in the relationship coming from both ends, right? Even all the way down to staying together. Just like the investigators asked her, well, if he did all this stuff to you, why stay? Which, I mean, again, I get this in many scenarios, but I think each case is very specific, and I think for this one too, it is very specific. I don't believe a lot of what Sarah has to say personally, but who am I? I was not there. I don't know. I can only go based on what the evidence is. And so I think that in this situation, it's like there's a level of like, oh God, he did this or he did that. There's many other outcomes to this than the suitcase situation. You know what I'm saying? So I guess what I'm getting at is there's probably some people that would be looking at it like she's been vilified, And again, in court, if it ever gets to court and some kind of evidence shows that there is no way to get away from this man, there is absolutely no other thing that she had to do than this to get out of some situation where her life was threatened, I might change my stance in the opinion, but at this point I look at it like, no, it probably took 2 to tango on like this certain situation here. Probably shouldn't have stayed together. I get that, but that's all hindsight. But and I don't even want to say she knew what she was doing, because I think that she was like blackout drunk when she was in this moment, right? But I'm not trying to even say that it's like, oh, so let her, it's okay, not at all. But it's just a narrative that I've seen. So I think she might hear from some people like that. But then I also think what she's hearing are probably people who want to talk to her and are just telling her what she wants to hear in order to get her to correspond. You're also going to always have like creepy fandom of like whether it's dudes or women that find her hot and that kind of stuff. And like want to, I mean? Like, get close to people who are in this situation for nefarious reasons. So her sitting here and talking in this way is just, it kind of blows my mind, to be honest. Now, also, when she's sitting here and just reeling this stuff off of the judge of like, well, here's this, some 58-page letter, dying to read that, number one. You know, but again, with a lawyer, I can probably already hear how some of this goes, which is, yeah, you're not going to like my answer, Sarah. You know, and the answer might be, you want to answer, Sarah? Number one, they're not going to give you a bond because of the charges, okay? Hello, welcome to Florida and most other states, okay? It is what it is. And if they did give you a bond, it's going to be so high. Now, we'll get here in a second when she talks about how she'll pay that bond off. But again, the answer she's hearing, yeah, they might suck, you know, and it might be you're looking at, you know, life for 20 years or I don't know, you know, but if she's coming to her with some kind of a plea deal and saying, look, you need to take the plea deal. Well, no, I don't want to take it. And I said this in live chat too. Sarah is somebody who strikes me that could turn a 20-year plea deal into a life sentence. You know what I'm saying? Because I think they could probably offer her some kind of plea deal, but I'm sure she's not going to take it because she seems to think that she's innocent. And I just am very curious to hear, well, for what? You know, for what, Sarah? Because even in the interrogation where she's talking, to me it sounded like she ran the show at the house. It sounded like she, you know, wore the pants, if you want to use that old saying. Yeah, but it sounds like she kind of ran the show. Oftentimes when I say personalities like her, they do run the show because everybody is almost being victimized by her in some way. Might not be the same way that say, yeah, maybe she's not lying. Maybe George got drunk and got a little handsy from time to time. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, you know, but I do think that she probably was bringing to the table her own set of things like that to other people. But anyways, I'll get off my soapbox or whatever you want to call it. Let's keep going.
So I don't know what I'm doing wrong other than wanting to have a very successful outcome. It's just been long and drawn out, and I believe that God obviously will consider me as much as I do him in order for him to give me this very unique adventure that I am on, and I'm doing my best to let everyone know who I really am as opposed to the malicious murderer that everyone thinks that I am. I don't feel that she can do that properly. I still always, the reason why I'm here is hope. Is to hope that she will come in with a gentle, softer side and actually listen to what it is that I'm saying and see the bigger picture other than what's the one avenue that she keeps going down. There's other ways to win and in more than one way.
Okay, so you heard her say, you know, I want a gentler, softer attitude. She wants someone to coddle her. Well, we're 5 years, 8 lawyers in, we're past coddling, okay? Because I can almost assure you that won't work either. She just changes her tactics wherever she goes. You know, so now this isn't working, so we'll say I want this. But now they do this, so I'll say I want this. You see where I'm going? She's saying she keeps going down this avenue, but there's other ways to win. Now, whether Sarah's trying to say, who knows, oh, mental health, or oh, alcoholism, or oh, this, or I was a victim of this, or whatever, is to be determined. You know, but again, I personally think that the lawyers are coming to her and saying, this is the evidence that we know they have against you. It's really, really bad. You're basically guilty, red-handed. This is what I think you should do. And I think Sarah's saying, no, we're going to say it's this because of A, B, and C. And she's not seeing it. And she's not. This is what happens when we see these trials go up where you're like, what were they thinking? Why is the lawyer even saying this? It's these situations where she's going to have to get a lawyer who will just go along with it and be like, okay, Sarah, what do you want me to say? Okay, yes. Mm-hmm. Go off, girl. What was it? Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what we'll say in the opening. How about that?
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, but I'm not saying that. I'm trying to remove her. I'm just trying to ask you, please, forgive me for having to ask you for this. If you could please let her know, please, to just be nice to me and have a welcoming attitude, and things will probably change, and I will not get up and I walk out. Please don't lie to me. Please don't give me half-truths. And
what instances where there's been falsities or lies that have been told to you by Ms. Cashman?
I mean, she wants the red carpet. She wants to be treated like a celebrity. And again, this lady, the lawyer, you can just tell like the way she's not prettying it up. And I'm sorry, but there comes a point in life where sometimes where it's called tough love or whatever, and it's like you need that, and Sarah needs that. She's probably never gotten it because, like I said, people have probably just always kind of gone along with her. Yikes, no. Okay, right? Like, no. And this lawyer's probably just coming in there and just being like, this is what it is. I am not going to waste my time holding your hand. Do you want to do A, B, or C? And Sarah's convinced that everyone's out to get her.
Can you give me an example?
my biggest one, Your Honor, is For me being here ongoing 5 years, no one has ever bothered to try to get me a bond.
What's the lie? You said that she has lied to you. What is the lie?
The process of getting a bond. She lied to my brother in regards to telling him that he would need to come down to the courthouse to have multiple photographs taken for documentation. He would have to bring the security information he needs to.
So here's the thing, and like, listen to how Sarah talks, like how much more. Well, the biggest one is the bond, the process of the bond. Where is the lie? You know, and she's going on and on and on and on. And I mean, again, I just come back to this with the bond thing, where I'm like, you are in jail over the big M. Most people don't get a bond over that. And again, I think it would depend on the evidence, right? Y'all, if you haven't looked at the evidence, go Google, YouTube, Sarah Boone interrogation, watch the whole thing. It ain't a cute look, okay? So it's like, no, and at this point, you've dragged this out. I would almost consider her a flight risk. Now, we're getting ready to hear her give the reasons why she's not. You know, which she does bring up some valid points or whatever. But I'm just like, how much do you think the bond would be? Well, she's got to answer for that, so let's hear it.
Everything else. And then it turns into all these other different stories of why she won't do or why she has said certain things. It always changes and it mutates after I ask her for certain things, not just for the bond, but for other things also.
Okay, well, let's focus on the bond issue, because you said that she's lied to you, and what you've told me so far, none of that is inaccurate.
So how is it though, because I don't have any experience prior to this, I don't know the process of getting a bond other than what I have read, and it's just for her to do a bond, a motion for a bond hearing. But I didn't know that anyone, all of the other inmates, even officers, have ever said that they've had to do that process in order to have photographs taken and documented and use crews and visit to his house. He's not posting my bond, which I told her 1,000,001 times, but she still spooked him by asking by him thinking that he's going to have to, and it would threaten his security clearance considering he's in the service, the military. So she totally deterred me from having my brother's address in order for me to have a motion for a bond. No one else has even bothered to even ask me for one, and I will be honest with you, in the court, I know for a fact with however sky high my limit would be for my bond to receive, I know for a fact unless my fans would set up GoFundMe pages or God's will or however else it is he planned for me to have it paid, if at all, my point is to utilize my rights to have a bond.
I cannot, my fans. Okay, listen to how unhinged she sounds. They would set up a GoFundMe. This is how by the seat of her pants she is. Like, she has concocted this whole thing of, I'll get my fans to do a GoFundMe, and then they'll do this no matter how high the bond is. But now they're saying because of his security clearance and his time in the service and this and that and blah, 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 blah. There's like a level of delusion going on here that I'm sure the lawyers are like, huh? And they're trying to skirt around it and like, you know what I mean? Because it's almost like imagine trying to convince Daryl Brooks of something. When they're so that, you can't convince them of anything else. And I'm sure the judge is listening to this like, we've been down this road 100 million times, Sarah. You know, and he's probably thinking like, girl, I would not give you bond. To say, I mean, you couldn't get, I mean, again, you have to look at like, what's the safety of the community? This is an unhinged person who thinks they've done nothing wrong, right? At all. You know, was so inebriated, didn't remember or thought she had deleted the video. And so, you know, would she be safe to her own self if she got out? Who knows?
And with the information I have included in here to you, for the amount of saturation of publicity, there's nowhere that I could go even if I were to be in quotes flight risk because of the amount of information that everybody already knows about me, what I look like, and what I eat apparently, and so many other things. There's nowhere I could go.
You know that the bailiffs in the courtroom are like, oh my God. Can you imagine the stories that they have when they go home? Like literally dealing with this. Or the security guard, the deputies or whatever, like in her unit or whatever. Can you imagine the stories that they've seen? They are going to have a true, what do you call it, like heartbeat or thumb on the thumbprint, whatever you call it, like a true vibe of what she's really like because they're watching her all day long. They're spending hours a shift in her unit or whatever she's in. And so they're going to get a true, like, who is Sarah Boone? You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure it's not acute analysis at all.
The House, what it said was, the media's been in the courtroom for all the hearings, and it's likely that they would be here for the bond hearing, and that your face could be on the television, and that was a concern for him. And I'm gonna just leave it at that. But, Judge, I can't spend all my time defending what I'm doing and at the same time be effectively preparing a case for trial. In these situations, I know it puts the court in a very difficult position. As I see it, Ms. Boone has a couple options. Number one, she can ask you to represent herself. She has the right to. You have a Faretta hearing and determine whether she's capable. The court then has to address the issue of whether it's appropriate to appoint standby counsel. Obviously, since she believes not a word that I say after 40 years of doing criminal defense, I'm probably not the right lawyer for that. The other thing is she gets one last lawyer, it either works or it doesn't. And sometimes, unfortunately, the court gets put in a position that you have to have that conversation with a client that you don't, if you want your counsel of choice, then you need to hire your counsel of choice, and everyone can certainly do that. And if you're indigent, the court can only go through this so many times with Ms. Boone coming to the court and there ending up being irreconcilable differences such that the counsel that you have appointed can't move forward and provide effective assistance to counsel.
Okay, so couple of things. First of all, you heard the attorney in the very beginning talking about that whole thing about what she said. Like, look, it's going to be on the TV. It's going to be this. The media is going to be here. It could kind of make him look bad, whatever. She's thinking of the bigger picture. And Sarah, again, is very selfish. So what the gist I'm getting is Sarah's talking about trying to get out and bond it out to her brother, whatever. He's in the services, can make him look bad, which is understandable, right? I mean, come on. So the attorney's trying to make her aware of this. She doesn't want to hear that. She doesn't care, right? I mean, I'm sorry, but you heard her in the interrogation. I am a straight A student. I excel at everything. Taking all this credit for George and this and that and, the whole 9 yards. Now, the lawyer laid out the nice, easy steps. To me, the judge, and I get where the court's hands are tied to some level, he's going to have to reel this in. Right? He's going to have to reel this in and start being like, bam, look, here we go. This is what we're doing. He kind of does here, but he's going to have to really reel this in because, again, the trial, when it ever comes, if it does, is going to be a nightmare.
We're going to specially set this matter for the second week of the September 30 trial period, beginning Monday, October 7th. We will set this matter for trial case management on the 24th of September, right? On September 24 at 9 a.m. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. We'll do you at 1:30 in the afternoon.
It's Tuesday, September 24th.
Tuesday, September 24 at 1:30 in the afternoon for our trial case management. Trial date certain on October the 7th. Deputy, if you could please grab the 2 packages of submittals from Ms. Boone. Oh, I thought it was 2 different envelopes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay, so here we go. This is, we're going to do a status thing, which it's going to be drama. I'm not trying to be negative Nancy, but I'm just saying, okay? And then trial date October. So we'll see, right? This is going to be a test run. I would almost rest assured that the same process is going to happen over, right? The same thing's going to happen over. We're just going to rinse and repeat.
I will review that, and after the review, the court will either issue an order or set this matter for hearing based on what it is that's been presented by Ms. Boone. Mr. Cacciatore, anything else we need to address this morning, sir? Ms. Cashman, anything else we need to address?
Not that I'm aware of at this time, Judge.
Ms. Boone, is there anything else you need to bring to my attention at this time?
I'm grateful for your time. I was forgiven for having to utilize it. But I really do hope that you can review thoroughly what it is that I'm asking for from my attorney who's supposed to be representing me for the trial supposedly happening in October, maybe September. So if you could please, I don't understand how I'm supposed to be able to go into a trial when I don't have what it is to properly defend myself.
Ma'am, I've asked for your submittals. I will be reviewing them. All right, thank you. All right, y'all, thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thanks, Judge.
Wow. I mean, she's just going to not stop. She is not going to stop at nothing. But again, she is sticking up for herself, so you got to give her that. But it's just misguided, right? If there was an inkling of like an innocent person had been locked away, this would be like, right, they're dotting their I's or crossing their T's, but not with this. Okay, now for the grand finale, let's watch her leave court. Now, I'm just going to talk over the clip. Like, there's no volume to it. I turned it down. But look at her smile as we go. Okay, so here we go. Here she is. She's getting up. She's sauntering on over there, jangling her cane or her chains. Now watch her face here. Coming up. Here he goes. Watch over his shoulder. Did you see that look where she was like this? I'm dying to know who she was talking to. It's either another inmate or it's like, family, friend, somebody, right? Or maybe a little boyfriend, maybe a little girlfriend. We don't know. But now watch, she keeps going. See, she's got that little smile. She's coming to the door. Now look at her. Watch her when she does this. She just, that whole little smirk that, I mean, she's like, I just ate and left no crumbs. I bet she's getting a lot of commentary. She must be. Has to be. So here's my thing. So predictions, okay? It ain't happening in October. I'm not being negative Nancy. I don't think it's going to happen. Why do I think that? Because I think that this is unresolved. In Sarah's world, she has no answers, no nothing, not ready, And it's, at this recording, it's June 9th, okay? So July, August, September, October. I mean, that's nothing, right? They haven't even begun doing anything, it sounds like, because they're basically spinning, all these lawyers have spun their wheels. They've not gotten anywhere because they're fighting against Sarah the whole time. I don't know what she thinks she's hoping to do. And maybe her tactic, I was thinking about this, was to get to a point where they're like, time served. We'll do time served for manslaughter. Or something like that, which I know 5 years is like nothing, but you know what I'm saying? Like something like that. So I'm baffled. I'm disheartened to see that after 5 years, this is still the mindset. No accountability, entitled, I want my hand held. It doesn't give me confidence that this is going to take place. George's family, I mean, come on, right? I mean, from what I've heard from them, they don't, this is just par for the course. They do not like her for kind of obvious reasons, right? Now, again, I would hope that she would. I don't expect someone in this situation to say, yep, sorry, everybody, I did it. I don't expect that, right? Of course, they're going to want to get the best situation and deal out of this, right? I mean, anybody would, regardless of guilt, not get whatever, okay? I 100% get that. But I guess what I feel like is that there should be a little bit more of like taking accountability on the level of like, it took two to tango. Even if her argument is George was doing this, George was doing that, there's clearly evidence of she was doing ABC to him too. And it's like, you know what? This just looks like something that got out of control. She put him in the suitcase. She battered him around in there, and then she went upstairs and passed out and fell asleep. Do I think she intentionally meant to do that, to like intentionally take his life in that way? No. I think she meant to hurt him. I think she meant to harm him. I think she meant to scare him. But I think she just passed out, and that's what happened. I don't think she thought, a better way to say it is, I don't think she thought about it that deep. It was like a thing in the moment. I don't think she was 100% aware of what she was doing, and not in the context of, okay, give her a free ride, but just, I mean, you heard her talk. She's like, this is for all the times you've done that. I'm like, yeah, he's begging for his life. Now, here's the argument I'm going to argue with myself now. Okay, Paul, she didn't mean to do it, but then when he's like, Sarah, I can't breathe, babe. And she doesn't let him in. I mean, that's intention, right? It's like you intentionally ignored him. So there's that. I don't think that she thought the outcome would be that he was not going to live, though, if that makes sense. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It shouldn't make sense. But I feel like she didn't mean for this to happen. Like, I do legitimately believe her on that level. But that doesn't change the fact that it happened. That's what she never understood in the interrogation, is she kept saying, unintentional, not intentional. Okay, it was a good day. It's like she never grasps it. It's like, girl, it doesn't matter if you intended or not. You, per your story, went upstairs and passed out, and then he suffocated after begging you to let him out. So it still happened. You're still accountable for that. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. Do I think that you in your mind sat there right in that second and said, I'm going to do this because I know he's going to suffocate? No. I don't think she was thinking that deep. I think she was too gone, right? But it happened, and she's not willing to accept that. So there's that. That's my rant. Anyways, let me know what you think, okay? Let me know what you think in the comment section. I do appreciate you if you're watching still, and even if you cut out halfway through, I appreciate you too. Anyways, that is it. Please drop some sofas down in the comment section for a little Roscoe in spirit so that he and I can hang out on the sofa and talk to y'all about this case, and more about this damn case, okay? Because it is off the chain. And until we do meander our way down there, we'll see y'all soon. I just wanted to say thank you again for watching the whole video, and also thank you for being part of the Sofa Squad. Special thanks to all the Patreon members, channel members from both of my channels, everybody who likes, shares, subscribes, comments in the comment sections. It helps the channel out so much. Now, don't forget, I do have that other channel, the podcast channel. That's where we go live, we hang out, we talk. We have kind of sort of a schedule, but just be sure and check it out. I'll put it up here on the screen. Also, if you're looking for merch, be sure to check out my Teespring store. I'll put that up here. And then, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you want to follow me and Roscoe on the Instagram, go on, check it out. It's right here on the screen again. But once again, thank you very much. I really appreciate you being part of the Sofa Squad, and I'll see you in the next video.